If you have to live 21 days in the wild with a beautiful young girl, not just lack of food, drinking water without even getting dressed, they also face survival challenges. What would you do? If you can get through, you will receive a reward of up to $100,000, equivalent to 2.5 billion Vietnamese currency. The location of this challenge is in the Brazilian Amazon. This is where there's a lot of biodiversity, most on Earth, where it's not just species like predatory piranhas. Large crocodiles can be up to 6 meters long, but there's also electric species like electric fish can discharge output voltage 500 volts. There are also dangerous animals that stop here, poisonous spiders and mosquitoes can carry disease. In such a dangerous environment, the players will have to survive. No clothes for 21 days. The female contestant in this challenge is AK, a famous female hunter in the area with rich experience. Before we start, AK's partner had to retreat because I couldn't face the challenge so harshly. You have the opportunity to interact with beautiful people, but he decided not to join. AK's new companion is a veteran named Tyler. Participated in the Afghan War. I'm very confident about this challenge. According to the arrangement of the program, they sat in a small boat and were taken to the site. They take off their clothes. The two met, and even though Taylor was married, but I can't hide the excitement when you meet a strange woman. They both started preparing the tools provided by the program. Tyler picked a forest knife, while AK carries a kit for making fire. Then, they opened up the map and started moving into the depths of the forest for more than an hour, and finally we're in a vacant lot. There is water nearby. Tyler decided to build a shelter here. They have to finish building the shelter and start a fire before it rains. AK and Tyler split up. Tyler cut the tree and AK took care of the other part. It started a while ago when suddenly it was raining heavily. Life in the rain can't go on. So Aka put down the fire starter and helped Tyler cut down the tree. Even though Aka is a beautiful girl, but only a moment later, she climbed up the tree and threw a knife at the tree. Taylor under the tree looked up with excitement. They keep working until dark, and eventually built a shelter. Even though I can't light a fire, both of them have been harassed by insects. They can't sleep all night. If you were in this situation, you'd handle raw SAO. The next morning it was still raining, but AK decided to try his luck and tried to start a fire again. Finally, after a lot of effort, the fire was also lit. I'm glad there's finally a fire. At night they can rest safely. I didn't expect it until 10 to 30. They're attacked by insects. When you wake up, they found out the fire was out, and Tyler had to get back together. But unfortunately, the ignition tool is broken, made AK angry and scolded Tyler. AK stood next to me looking silly. After how much trouble, the fire is finally burning. They both started laughing happily. Come tonight with fire in your hand. They've started the game and are going to sleep. I didn't expect it at 10 to 30. An army of insects suddenly attacked. Both of them were bitten. Stand up and watch the fire go out. Tyler decided to go down and start the fire, but did not expect. The suture fire burned and damaged the fire rod. The angry Aka came back and scolded him. Not getting enough sleep on Wednesday morning, Aka decided to give up and leave the challenge. Aka got on a small boat and left. Only Tyler is left, who have to continue to rebuild the shelter on their own. Tyler slept alone in the tent. I miss playing games with AK. The insect's noise becomes a drop of water that spills the glass. On Thursday morning, Tyler also decided to go home, finished the challenge with 7 defeats of all contestants. I don't know what to say. Maybe they're here for solitude rather than a challenge. Banzu. The program continues to select 2 new candidates to salvage the situation. The male is Tiger, a veteran with 25 years of experience. He looks strong but confident. The girl is Lara, people who have participated in a similar challenge. Panama lives 21 days without aid. They're both very strong contestants. After removing all equipment, they set out and met at the rendezvous point. When we met, we were both surprised. In front of the opponent's body, Lara was surprised by her muscular body. Tiger thought Laura's ability to survive. Definitely very strong. After a while shaking hands, they took the map and started going deep into the forest. Lara constantly praised Tiger's strength and thought that this challenge would be easy for them. After a long time of moving, they come to a high point and started collecting 10 shelter building materials. Tiger and Lara worked very well together. Quickly complete the shelter. And then they start a fire, and after a few minutes, the fire was burning bright. You two feel very satisfied. By evening they were ready for a peaceful night. Don't forget to take care of every situation. Friday morning, they decided to go out and find more tiger protein. Used a few sticks to make the bait. Fish liver and hang it up. I hope I can catch a piranha. I can't believe the piranha. Not only eat the bait, but also swallow the hook. After a while, neither of them caught any fish. When the sun goes down, they bring back to sticks. Not for the next 5 days. Without much progress. I can't help but say that there's actually very little protein in this area. For 10 days eating only coconuts and bark and still feeling hungry. On the morning of the 10th day, they're looking for protein in the forest. Suddenly Lara discovered a very large snake. Tiger heard it and rushed over. 2 people are preparing to catch the snake. Then one shot. The unfortunate move caused the snake to escape. They're angry, but there's nothing they can do. Until the 14th day, the situation becomes more tense. Tiger was thin as skin and bones. Even walking is weak. When passing through a puddle of water, they found a big fish. You two are excited. Tiger tried to use buprong for fishing, but Lara caught him. Stop it. Because you think that fish was their benefactor. In a previous situation, after a moment of hesitation, Tiger used the javelin to defeat the fish. Although she was sad, Lara was glad to have food. I promised to reward Tiger tonight. Finally, they brought the fish back to the barbecue and enjoyed it. Based on this fish, they were able to survive to the end. They both spent a day building a wooden raft, while having to go through the tough road, cut off the moss and slide underwater. In the evening they were hunted by a flock of fish. The attackers had to go ashore. As soon as we landed, Tiger was hit by a wave and had to hide in the grass. Shivering from the cold, both of you finally survived to the last day. Finally, they found a small plane to pick them up. Bring bonus $100,000 that they've been looking forward to. This is the most fascinating wildlife challenge. When an unknown couple must survive 21 days in nature without clothes and food. But they got through and got the reward. It's worth it if you love adventure. Don't hesitate to join. You may not care about money, but definitely you can't not care about others. Like Chris, an explorer expert, joined the challenge not for money, but because he believes that every man, they all have an ideal. It's about surviving in nature with a beautiful girl. Especially that this challenge doesn't require clothing. Joining the challenge is Karen, a nutritionist. I also love risky challenges. After we met, we were both excited. Quickly remove clothes and start moving to the rendezvous point. When we met, Chris couldn't stop praising Karen. After a little chat, they took out the film crew's gift set, including an iron pan for cooking water and a forest knife, the tools needed for wildlife. According to the map provided by the film crew, they're on an island in northeastern Venezuela, where there's difficult terrain and limited resources. Although there are many resources under the sea, but also full of poisonous jellyfish and aggressive predatory fish. They both decided to go to sea, because the search for food is so important. After a while through the forest, they went to the coast and found a source of clean groundwater, clear water like spring water. Decided to camp here. But Chris is a very curious person. You can't decide where to camp. That Karen had to urge. It's finally getting dark. They both go back to the beginning and build a place of refuge. It rained again that night and we couldn't sleep. After a sleepless night, the next day they decided to renovate the shelter. Cover the surface with banana leaves for sealing. There are no holes. At the same time, Chris decided to cut some logs, close the shelter to avoid high winds blowing. But Karen thought it would take too long. Instead, they could go and find some rocks by the beach. Chris doesn't care about Karen's opinion. Make you angry and run to the sea to swim. Chris's emotions are unstable. Everything is not as you imagine. And I don't want the small stuff. It affects the relationship of two people. To the third day, they greeted each other friendly and planned for the next job. So they decided to make a fish trap and spend an hour to light a fire. They both spent the morning making the trap. Put it under the sea and hope that when the fire burns, they will have fish to eat. Then, they made a fire drill and tried the ghost method. Close to create fire. Life is not as easy as they think. Both try it in turn. But I still can't see the spark. Chris felt 7 hopes. Karen is almost exhausted. Evening, they have to keep each other warm by playing games. In the following days, they're still trying every way to survive. But when they're hungry, they can only eat seaweed and leaves. Feeling tired, and 7 defeats that almost brought them both down. Day 10 because I was hungry. Chris checked out the fish trap early in the morning. But I didn't see any fish. I decided to go down to the beach to find more bait. And instead of finding bait, I suddenly discovered a fire drill. He took it back to camp and Karen teamed up to try to make a fire. Karen gripped the head of the drill and Chris pulled hard. But not long after the drill broke. Can't do anything about a broken drill. They have to change their methods. Karen proposed to change jobs for each other but Chris agreed. I don't want to work hard without results. After listening, Karen decided to rest and run away. Find a quiet space. Grim was angry, but there was no other way. You have to find your own way to survive. Chris started crying and condemning Karen. She thinks she's too proud, but Karen doesn't notice. I don't want to talk to you at all. This made Chris very sad. I saw Karen's contemptuous face. Chris is no longer interested in keeping the 5th team. They seem to have completely broken up. On the 12th day, they didn't talk to each other. Chris decided they needed to talk. But Karen only replied to one thing. What the hell? She doesn't want to be with you at all. Chris and left the shelter. Chris felt that Karen was being unreasonable, always leaving. You're here to survive, not to take care of your wife. To the 13th day, Chris woke up and realized Karen was gone. Even though they had conflict. But you don't have to leave all the time. Chris was still worried and went looking for her, afraid something bad will happen. I searched all the time but couldn't find you. Karen came back in the afternoon and announced that she wanted to give up. Because you feel the method. Your work is so different. Can't continue. Chris predicted this but said nothing more. However, Karen's departure made Chris very angry. You criticize the act of leaving others behind, and I regret not beating you. After calming down, Chris is trying to survive alone. Without women, I'm determined to start a fire. Finally, after much effort, you've made a fire. I swear I'm having a big seafood party. On the 17th, I decided to go catch a small crab. The crabs on the beach are quite large combined with fire. I had a good meal and called Karen. I won't let you eat. To the 20th day, you get your things ready and check the map to make plans to leave. Tomorrow, you'll have to cross a cliff to get to the evacuation point, and fire signals to alert the rescue. I decided to bring the flint tomorrow. On the 21st day, Chris started his journey. Rushed to the evacuation point. It doesn't take long. He arrived and quickly lit the signal. The rescue finally arrived. But because the waves are too big, the ship can't get to the shore. Chris had to swim out to reach the ship. But I don't have the strength to swim that far. Besides, you and Karen are tired. This made Chris very angry. I swear in my heart. Even though he didn't want to, Chris bit his teeth. Thanks to his strong will, I finally swam out to the boat. Crit alone won the $100,000 prize, and Karen, despite not completing the challenge, and didn't win the prize. But you feel like you've learned a lot too. At least you've learned to survive on your own. This is the biggest dating show in the world, where contestants will survive for 21 days in the wild, without clothes. Everything has to be solved on its own, including personal hygiene issues. If you pass the test, they'll get a $100,000 prize. The main male of the show, Jonathan, is a Marine. Has done many missions around the world. He's also a fitness coach. Female lead Molly. Since childhood, I have lived outdoors and have full knowledge of survival. The couple was taken to a deserted island in the Maldives, where there's high temperatures all year round and rainstorms. Suddenly, it's also close to the sea and has a lot of marine resources. While looking for food, they may accidentally encounter these creatures, toxic seas, and turn them into food. According to the organization, you have to take off your clothes and hold hands. Start the challenge. The first time we met, we both evaluated each other very carefully. After a short conversation, they're getting survival packages, including a knife and a set of ignition kits. Both immediately began to survey the terrain and discovered that where they were was very small. To survive in 21 days, they need to find a place that's bigger and has more resources. Without hesitation, they jumped into the water and started looking, and Jonathan, don't forget to enjoy the beauty of the sea. After swimming for a while, they go ashore and they're faced with 50-degree heat. Jonathan had a severe sunburn and had to find a shady place to build a shelter. They use wood as a frame and cover leaves on top to form a roof. Jonathan continues to burn, and in the meantime Molly, with full knowledge of survival, used the leaves of the tree as a protective tool from the sun. Molly decided to go in search of food and encountered a colony of red ants as they climbed up a tree to pick leaves. Jonathan's sunburn though. Still no sign of improvement. To the third day, Jonathan's sunburn is not over. Molly, find some wild berries to help you soothe your sunburn. After being smashed, she prepared a dose of essential oils and took care of herself. Jonathan doesn't know if Jonathan's sunburn is it improved? Jonathan's sunburn though. Still no sign of improvement. I can only continue to rest. Molly must shoulder the responsibility of maintaining her family. Go to a nearby beach and find some clothes. After wearing it, she was fine and kept looking for food. The easiest food to find right now is coconut. Molly takes the cover and hits the coconut hard. After many attempts but still no effect, Molly finally had to climb trees to pick coconuts. Up to the tree's branches, she discovered a colony of red fire ants. Unfortunately, she was bitten by ants in a sensitive location. Despite being bitten, Molly continues to pick coconuts. When you get back to camp, Molly chop coconut cho Jonah then. But he just wants fresh water, and I'm not grateful to Molly. This makes Molly. He was angry and wanted to teach him a lesson. To the 6th day of the survival challenge, Molly suddenly has a stomach ache. I can't keep collecting 10 leaves. After a few days of doing nothing, Jonathan's sunburn, it also gradually recovered, and he's starting to take responsibility. It's about providing food for both. The first task is to solve the freshwater problem. Jonathan found an area with trees, green, and start digging a well. Even though the sunburn, it still limits your ability to move. After the last 2 days of digging, Jonathan also found fresh water. Molly tests and finds very cloudy water. She explained that in the Mandiver, groundwater is easily contaminated by seawater. And if you drink contaminated water, it's very dangerous for health. Jonathan did not listen to her warning. They use bottles to get water and drink. The next morning when Molly walked out, she realized there were traces of feces near the area. Jonathan must have drunk the contaminated water. Even though I reminded you so many times. But Jonathan still refused to listen and continued to act wrong. Then, he's doing bad things near the shelter. That Molly wanted to sit down and educate him about sanitation. However, they continued to argue, and after an intense debate, their relationship has become cold. But they still have to live together and focus on the most important task: protein supplements. They decided to try their luck by foraging for food. When going to the beach, Jonathan spotted a big fish. But when you try to catch, the fish swam out and crashed into your leg. Molly is quick to hit with an axe. And finally, the fish really did return to Molly, strong enough for Jonathan, standing next to the witness to admire. After returning to the shelter, they grilled the fish and enjoyed their first meal. After days of eating only leaves, the fish were so good that they regained their strength. Jonathan, he also began to rethink his actions. The next morning Jonathan decided to go into dangerous waters to find food. While underwater, you use an axe to catch a big fish. Although there are still many shortcomings, but I realized my mistake and corrected it. Molly, so I ran to him and hugged him lovingly. 2 people ate well, and their relationship is going well again. However, on the 19th day, a great storm began. Strong winds and prolonged rain. You can't go out. They can only stay in shelters comforting each other. Even though this shot wasn't great and it was cut, but the rain didn't stop for 3 days. On the 20th day, Molly woke up hungry. Although the rain has stopped, but the wind was so strong that they could only hide in the camp. On the morning of the 21st, the sky is finally bright and unknown. Molly is happy for the first time. There is light after 3 days of rain. Or because the war with Jonathan is finally over. Together, they built a boat out of trash. Sea and boat. This marks the end of the 21-day challenge. Popular reality TV shows in this foreign country with a male and a female naked. They survived for 21 days in the wild. Everything from hygiene to agriculture, they all have to solve themselves. If they complete the challenge, they'll get $100,000. The main character on this show is Elisa. She's a survival coach. Outdoor for young people, has led students survive for months in SA wilderness. She's got a lot of experience in the wild. Man is one a survival enthusiast. He calls himself a survival expert after learning through the internet and books. This 2-person pairing program dropped them off the rugged coast of the Mexican Yucatan Peninsula. The sun is shining here, Chang. It's easy to get sunburned and you have to be careful. Wild yellow eel lethal, with thousands of young crocodiles attacking. By arrangement to people undressed, shielded by the translucent effect and meet on the beach. First time holding. Her hands were embarrassed to see Elisa's white skin. Flushed face. Elisa accidentally approaches the great treasure of the moment and relentless praise. I love this big weapon. For the next 21 days, I want the opportunity to discover more. And then they get care gifts from the program. Elisa chooses the axe when choosing the red pot. They open a map. They're going to go along the beach and build a shelter at the edge of the forest. On the way, you both talk and learn more about each other. When talking about victories, echoes of big weapons in 35 make Elisa admire. They went to an open space and started building shelters. Elisa collected 10 palm leaves as a roof when looking for wood to build the frame. With passionate collaboration, they finished the president's super seaboard, Bulgaria, before dark. The two began to exchange more deeply. The first time we talked, we were both very satisfied. But you can't avoid being bitten by ants. Affect the mood. Monday morning. Both of them had a dry throat because they had not drunk water. Decided to focus on finding water that goes deep into the forest. Face ant bites. They found a lake, but the water was cloudy and smelly. The lake was formed by the subsidence of rocks. High sulfur water lime. Drinking directly can cause disease. To safely bring the water back to the boiling camp. There's no igniter. 2 people drilled wood but failed. Elisa exhausted after 2 days without water. Use other ways of support. The third day full of determination. They tried a new way of drilling wood, but the bow line broke after the last hour of using an empty tube. Charcoal and sand as water filter. They both drank water for the first time. After settling for water, they plan to find protein. They're looking for sea snails and eating them raw. They keep thinking about how to start a fire. But every test is 7 failures. Picking up a glass bottle at sea. Intended to be used as a heat-focused recessed glass assembly device with cylinder for testing. 2 people start using the device. After a long time of testing, when you notice that the heat concentration point isn't working, so they gave up, and then they kept trying to drill wood for fire. Despite their best efforts, they still failed 7 times. Tired of falling down. Until day 10 when a nearby storm is forming. They use these things to collect rainwater. And enough water to last for a few days. Taking advantage of the rainy day, they tried drilling wood again. And after much effort, it's finally made a little bit of charcoal. From there the fire is kindled. At night, I thought a fire would repel mosquitoes, but they still attack violently. While trapping on dry wood to catch lizards. Elisa uses Leo's rope to create a fish trap, but after days of waiting nothing came of it. Hungry, they decided to go to sea at night. They found and caught 2 crabs. Back at camp, they enjoyed the delicious boiled crab. I'm so hungry I want to eat the whole thing. To the 21st day, they're about to leave. Through the thorny jungle to the rescue point. Even calculate wrong position. Have to walk another 3 kilometers along the beach. They finally arrive. Happy embrace with a $100,000 prize. After 21 days Elisa lost 6 kilograms. After 21 days, I lost 15 pounds. I'm starting to feel bad. I'm not the one who wants to sleep. It's not that I don't drink anymore. I'm just thinking, if you are a girl like this. Surviving in the wild, 21 days without clothes. No food. But still persevere and get a bonus of $100,000. Do you want to sign up? With someone you care about. The guy on the show this time is Charlie. A construction worker. No special skills, but very strong body. His goal in joining is simple. I just want to survive with this beautiful girl. The girl involved is Daniel. A young and beautiful outdoor ambulance doctor. Young people like her think. Finding a partner. Maybe good energy will be interesting. You two have a plan. And decided not to give up. They went to the wilderness in the Dovaka River Valley. Colombia, where there are many rivers, the habitat is quite harsh, but there's plenty of water here. It takes just a few steps to find water. Flat terrain. So they decided to rebuild a shelter. Charlie started cutting bamboo, but under hot and humid weather conditions, he feels tired. Loss of strength and cannot continue for long, although Daniel advised him to rest. But Charlie thinks it's getting dark. Hurry to make a fire. Daniel commented, "You said there's no need to try too hard." To keep the masculine image, living in these conditions is still an easy challenge. Then they prepare the water to boil. The water here is quite clean, you just need to heat it and you can use it. At night they want to sleep, but not because there are so many around monkeys and they're afraid of being attacked. They couldn't sleep and had to stay awake until morning to prevent monkeys from attacking at night. Charlie has the knife ready. Then they continue to work together. Very quickly they built a simple shelter. Next is looking for protein. Because Daniel's a vegetarian, she's looking for fruit. But Charlie doesn't eat meat and he's hungry. He kept looking for a little bit of other food. After a while searching, Daniel found a rich vegetable. Protein and eat very delicious. But Charlie can't eat that. I want to go out and try my luck. They both go along the stream to an area with running water. You can drink water directly if you feel thirsty. Daniel felt the water was cloudy. You're starting to get a little nervous. While Charlie, thinking that as long as the body doesn't have a problem, they won't have to lose the water heater tomorrow. Until the fourth day, Charlie feels everything is fine, and think that this country has no problem. After a few days without eating, Daniel felt very tired and just wanted to sleep. Charlie is not comfortable, but you're a man and you want to carry more. So tell Daniel to rest and we'll get some water. Daniel is determined. She's worried about the water quality in the lake. Charlie orders you to rest. That makes Daniel unhappy. She felt Charlie didn't respect her. You two almost had a fight. But in the end, they both agreed to go get water. Daniel doesn't like Charlie's conservative attitude. Never think about other people's feelings. You don't want Charlie to just do what he wants. Charlie explained that he just wanted to take care of her, but Daniel felt he didn't respect himself. The more they talked, the more tense they were, and Charlie, I can't take it anymore. Go to the forest to relieve stress. After calming down, you go back to your place, and they talk softly to each other. Charlie, he also realized his mistake and the two reconciled. By the 6th day, Charlie was still looking for food. This time I was lucky to find some wild snails. Bake it up. I was going to cook the rest. But because Daniel's a vegetarian, you don't want to eat wild snails. Charlie only ate a little left. The rest you release back into the forest. Charlie was confused, but because Daniel had asked, you have to follow. Day 11. Charlie, who hadn't eaten in a long time. I feel my ability to act diminished. I decided to make some traps. There's a very powerful exo trap in there. It can go through a big animal. Daniel doesn't care because you're a vegetarian. And even plants can become food. The 13th day passed without the trap getting anything. Charlie couldn't take it anymore and decided to go fishing. Daniel found a red mushroom to eat. Meanwhile, Charlie fished all day without catching any fish. I'm jealous of Daniel. Because you're a vegetarian and you've never had to suffer hungry until the 15th day. Charlie gets up early to check the traps, but still no results. The traps have not yet been activated and night comes. I couldn't sleep because I was hungry and exhausted. Until the 18th day, there was no food for a long time. Charlie's spirit broke. I'm starting to give up the challenge. Daniel noticed this and felt very hopeful. She wondered where the strong man before was. You think Charlie? Too stubborn. I don't know why you have to eat meat. But now Charlie was too weak and powerless. Daniel, keep looking for food and see a wild toad. That Charlie can supplement with protein. I've never killed an animal, but because the team is struggling, you finally decided to bring it back. This made Charlie deeply moved. I know Daniel's suffering, and I'll never forget that sacrifice. However, Daniel's mood was very sad. You just want a good meal, and no more mind to care about Charlie. 19th day. Because the evacuation point is quite far, it'll take you 2 days to get there. They decided to get ready to dismantle the shelter, collect all the necessary items, and make a raft for fresh water. Prepare for tomorrow. By the 20th day, they had packed everything. Prepare to leave. After a while sailing, they finally reached a safe zone, where they need to quickly build another shelter. They feel that victory is in front of them and worked really hard to complete the shelter. They both kept drifting along the water until it got dark, and they found a place to camp. We were both very tired that day. Lie on the ground and sleep. On the 21st day, when it was not yet light, they set out. After a few hours of drifting, they finally reached the sea, where there's a rescue ship waiting. This time they both completed the challenge and get a reward of $100,000 before returning home. This is a survival challenge, hardest in foreign countries, with a male and a female without clothes. 21 days in the wild. We have to deal with everything from eating to hygiene. If you pass the test, they will get $100,000 bonus. The heroine of this episode is Alana. She works in the sports equipment industry, and he's particularly fond of extreme sports, especially fishing and catching shrimp. She's very confident in her ability to survive their own in the wild. South is Key, an alcoholic Kai coach, specializing in helping alcoholics give up this habit. You are also an ex. They are very good at survival skills. Film crew unites this powerful couple and takes them to a deserted island in eastern Australia where the climate is harsh and dangerous. This island is almost lifeless, with strong winds and wild animals. Full of danger. After being assigned the task, you both start undressing and preparing for the journey. Survival. Alana looked at Key and they both felt pretty awkward. I get nervous when I look at Alana, and worrying about what to do next. After a bit of cold communication, they started collecting materials from the film crew. Key chose a sharp knife, and Alana, choosing an important tool for outdoor survival. Then they studied, map and planned to find fresh water, into a flat area to build a shelter. They started moving into the forest, but only after 2 hours. They've been slowed down by entanglements in the forest. I can't find the right place. They decided to go back to the coast. Fortunately, they found a source of fresh water and decided to build a shelter. The first task is to create a fire. Key, with the bravery of men, decided to do this work, while Alana will prepare the dry material to ignite the fire. Although the conditions are quite dry, it took them a while to make a fire. After success, they use bamboo to hold water and be careful not to let the bamboo crack from the heat. He figured out how to use hot stones to heat water. Help them have clean drinking water. Continuously at a few tablets but still do not see boiling water. There's no other way. You both finish and taste a bite. Based on the taste, I guess it's still undrinkable. After eating, they continue to think differently. It's dark now. They both had to build a temporary roof. On the island, there's a lot of material for the roof. They cut down nearby trees to build the frame and use palm leaves to make a roof. The couple's small tent was quickly built. Because this is the first night, Alana didn't choose to start the match in bed with Key. They both decided to sleep. The next morning, the two begin searching for water on the island. Even though they're going to get water from the trees, but after cutting a tree and taste the water in the trunk, they almost got sour. They keep looking. Go a paragraph. They found a leaf that contained a lot of water. If you take a few, you can solve the water problem. However, Key the man really decided to cut down the tree. But Alana thinks that cutting down trees is going to take a lot of work and it's going to affect their dinner. But Key didn't take advice and cut down the tree with a knife. The result was after 2 hours. They realized the tree was too hard. But what is said has to be done. I can still see the tree. The coconut tree was eventually cut down. They quickly picked the fruit, but when they added raw, they found that there was no water in the coconut. All of their work during the day became a success. By day 3, they still couldn't find fresh water. Their bodies start to have problems. They returned to the sea. I don't care if the water is clean or not. Just have drinking water. Alana lay down and drank from the stones. Then I can't stand it. Lie down and drink water. After drinking they went back to their shelter and waited until evening to rest. Until Thursday morning, Alana started looking for water in the rock niches, but I lost all my strength. It isn't clear whether it was due to injury or lack of water. Your body becomes weak, and Alana has to take responsibility. On the 6th day, Key's condition did not improve. Makes me think about giving up. But thanks to a conversation with Alana, I decided to continue. The two of you continued to reinforce the shelter, and while searching, they found a banana bush. This is great news for them. After eating bananas, they both continued to stand for a few more days. To the 8th day, when Alala is working, she feels Hoa eyes. She was suddenly exhausted and had to rest. Key is no better. Your health is still unstable. It's because they don't have enough protein for days. On the 11th day, they decided to go to the beach and look for protein. But the process didn't go as smoothly as they thought. They found a little crab. But right then and there, I see protein wiggling and I want to catch it. But the knife is not sharp enough. They can just catch a little crab for lunch. When I was about to go to sleep, I suddenly fainted. 5 rescue teams immediately took him to the hospital, and after checking, they discovered Key excessive dehydration that is not being compensated, leading to fainting. Then Alana had to go on with the rest of her life. She made a Lautry herself. Decided to go to the sea looking for more protein, but because of limited power, all attempts are 7 failures. Until the 16th day, Alana found a little crab. And she immediately ate it alive. In the following days, you survived because of what you found. On the 21st day, she looked at the map and found her way off the island. After climbing to the top of the mountain, I saw a helicopter coming to the rescue. Although the program was not as successful as planned, but Alala was finally saved and came home with $100,000. This episode ends here. Please sign up to watch the next episode. See you in the next episode.